So, okay, the next one, Elena. Okay, so hypochondria. How to deal with hypochondria. The fear of illness is huge, and I am scared to sorry, and I am scared to stay with that fear because I believe that it will happen in real life. Because everybody's saying that your thoughts and feelings manifest in real life. How to look at that fear, how to stay with it, and be safe at the same time. Thank you. Um, so the first thing that I want to say is, where does it say people? Sorry, if everybody's saying that your thoughts and feelings manifest in real life. So this is probably, so imagine the idea that what you think and what you feel will bring you something in physical reality. So a disease. Um, that is kind of the ultimate prison in the mind because then you're afraid to do anything. I ca- oh, I have this natural thing arising. It could be anger, it could be whatever. And this thing is going to manifest like cancer or something. So you can see how that makes your reality so difficult because it's almost like you can't move. You can't do anything. And I think I even said this to her in one of our direct messages. I said, if this were true, I would be dead already. Because the amount of negative things that I have given my attention to, that you can't even believe how deep I've taken them, hasn't resulted in anything, right? Like not even an injury or anything. So you can see that that is the mind. There's reality. So you could say, as real as can be, it's physical reality. And the mind is saying that your imagination is going to result in a physical thing. Um, I just want to say that that doesn't exist. You know, it's scary. And then it's like, well, what if it does? What if it does? What if I'm going to be, well, this is sort of the nature of fear, right? That it's like all you can do is feel it. And the second thing I was going to say is, that okay, so you have a fear of illness, right? So this would be pretty hardcore. But if you wanted to face the fear, and then if it got too intense, you would probably cry. So those are all the feelings that you would kind of face. Then you would look at things like videos of diseases. That would probably be the most hardcore thing to face. And, it could be a very short amount of time if it's too overwhelming, but that would be you facing the fear, and then probably there would be a lot of crying. And then that's how you would do it. You would do it little by little, all 10 seconds today, 20 seconds tomorrow. And then your body is getting used to the fear and, all of that stuff. And then if you did it enough times, once you got comfortable with it, you pretty much kind of, will be the word, you kind of healed it, I think.
Yeah, and I think the only thing that actually leads to physical illness is repressed emotion. Repressed emotion in the body it can lead to chronic illness. That's part of why, doing this work is well, it's just another aspect of its benefit. But also, it's the ego's immense fear of death. The fear that arises from the idea that you might be ill is the ego freaking out that it's going to die, which is its nature, and that's completely normal. I've definitely had lots of hypochondria, and I remember even just like someone saying cancer or like speaking about it was like, "Don't do that, otherwise I'm going to get it." you know
Yeah.
don't make it normal to say it out loud, otherwise we're all going to get it. It's that level of the ego being like la 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 la. um and it's just a fear associated with the ego's fear of death. So just exactly what Steve said, that um trying to be with it and let it come. And it might take a long time because that it's a really strong fear. But then you can start to the more room that you get, the more you can start to play with it and let it, you know, be in you. So for example, with my example, you could maybe I actually did this was like people talking about their experience of having cancer, especially if they're young. That would freak me out too much. That would really make me feel like that was going to happen to me. Or if someone died when they were young, if I knew about it, then that was going to happen to me. So over time, I was able to, sort of almost exposure therapy myself into uh, hearing these things doesn't have to be like horrific necessarily, but like hearing real things and seeing what comes up, a lot of fear, a lot of sadness and tears. Um, and yeah, just like anything else, the a very similar process. Um, and I think the manifestation part is another egoic trick that's just part of it. It's like let the ego convincing you that you're not, that even to think about it is a bad idea, otherwise you'll give it to yourself. You know, so
Yeah.
you best not even think about it.
Yeah, that's so funny. Um, death, the experience that you're afraid to die, it has everything to do with the ego dying in the mind.
Mhm.
And remember, the ego can't die all at once. There's just too much of it. But you have these ego deaths, which is actually another question for later. But um, what was I going to say? Ego death. I almost got it. It's something to do with like every time that something. Oh, okay, here I got it. The entire kind of awakening process is a closure. So you know how when people say they ended a romantic relationship, but it felt stuck, like there's something that's not processed. And so people will say, I don't feel like I got closure, which means a final ending, a complete ending, and then it's gone. And you can think of awakening and all of this healing, all of this release as closure, closure, closure. And so when there is a significant closure, which is an ego death, that will be experienced as you, like you're going to feel like I'm about to die. That has happened to me so much. So it's like, oh, I'm going to drive now. And then there's this strong fear, and the thought is, I'm going to die in a car accident right now. And then there's even that spiritual thing, which is like, oh, I'm getting this information from the realms or from like, some spiritual entity that's telling me this to protect me. So maybe I shouldn't go. And that's happened to me a million times and nothing ever happened. So every time that a part of your ego is going to die, you think you're actually dying for real, which shows you the power of the ego in the mind. So it's like you look at your body, you might have even had a checkup and everything is perfect. That's reality, right? That's reality. You even feel fine. But your mind and the ego is so strong that if this thing, an image in your mind, dies, you think that that's the body dying. I mean, how crazy is that? It's just like your imagination. Imagine I sit here and then I imagine that there's like a dog dying, right? And then if I open my eyes and I get scared because I thought there was a dog here on the floor. I don't even have a dog. So it would be that kind of insanity. How could imagination make you feel so powerfully that the real you, this body, is going to die? So it shows you the influence that the ego has. The image of yourself in your mind is more real than your flesh and your blood, which is insane. Imagination feels more real than reality. I think that's crazy. Okay.